and we are live. So welcome everyone to another episode of the Unblinded Real Raw. My name is Fernando, fellow co-founder, and today I'm excited because we have some amazing guests. Sean will not be joining us here today, which is all good. First time ever in Real Raw history. So today is like a big deal. Lights, camera, action is all on. We got waterfalls in the background. We have like a bunch of frames that are symmetrical in the background. We have people with amazing goatees and hairdos in the background. And there's like things that happen. So what we do here is that this is a watering hole. This is a place where heart-centered influencers come together to display that influence is a superpower. It's present here, and it's also available to be learned here. And what we're gonna be doing for these next 60 minutes is we're gonna spend the first 20 getting to know each other, building rapport, showing what it looks like to build genuine rapport with individuals that we do not know in a virtual level in this world of COVID. And then number two, the later half, that's when the fun happens. We're gonna be having two contestants that are gonna have 6 minutes apiece, 3 and 3, to go from hello to yes on something that is meaningful for them. And now, to let us know who's here, the hostess with the mostest and the bright jackets and the lipstick and the smile, Vivian Guzman. What's up,
God,
girl?
I love your energy, Fernando. Thank you. I'm so excited. We have an array of people that are fantastic, and we're going to start with the gentleman who has all of his beautiful awards neatly stacked against the wall. Ken Van Leeuw.
Hey, my background. I knew I should have stayed at home today. Here, let me take off my jacket.
He is getting heated and prepped.
And I saw somebody say you got to do your Tony Robbins move, right? You got to get right state. Let's do it.
There he is.
I was with him in 2001 at Life Mastery there, so it was fun.
That's awesome.
That's the energy of a #1 international best-selling author right there. He's written The Modern Wealth Building Formula, How to Master Real Estate Investing. He's also an educator, an engineer, and one of Manhattan's most successful real estate experts. Ken Van Leeuw has garnered international praise for his work in various facets of the building trade and has been in the industry for over 30 years. In 2001, he attended a Tony Robbins event, and fueled by this experience, as he was just showing us, and making moves like that, he lost 65 pounds and he gained unlimited energy. He developed also an assisted living facility. That was another inspiration that sprung from that experience. So welcome, Ken.
Thank you.
Ken Van Leeuw. Whoa, 65 pounds, making moves. So besides the fact that you have like symmetrical frames in the background, you lost 65 pounds and you're an absolute success in real estate. Like, what else are you doing in the world?
Yeah, great question. Yeah, you know, I've been fortunate to be with the same woman for 38 years. We were married 32 years last week. We were blessed with twins 28 years ago. I have a boy and girl twins. My son is a U.S. Marine intelligence officer, Captain Van Leeuw. His daughter just married a doctor that started at Columbia Presbyterian. She's an expert in culinary medicine. She's going to be a dietitian soon. She specializes in nutrition right now. And my youngest daughter's 23. She's looking for another job that she lost with COVID, but she's an internet marketer and loves photography. So my family is really big, and, you know, relationships. My big game now, you know, is I have some extraordinary real estate investments in the pipeline. I'm developing the old Chester Larson's turkey farm in Chester, New Jersey. I just landed 13 acres in Bedminster, which we have an extraordinary development that we're going to be doing there with hotel and storage. I have 192 units. We're looking at Connecticut. We're underwriting. So business is thriving, and I'm kind of trying to figure out how I can bridge, because 10 years ago, when I lost $300 million in one day, when Lehman Brothers crashed and went into depression and started doing magic again, just to keep it in my life. I worked with Joel Bauer, and that's when I created, it was called 8-Figure Deals with No Money Down, and that developed into the Modern Wealth Building Formula. I'm really trying to show how that success I used in real estate applies to business and life, and how it could help people throughout the world. And I'm just not sure how to do that, you know, because there's only so many hours during the day. So I was thinking about creating a podcast and calling up my buddy, Mr. Hartman there, who's got like 12,000 episodes, and maybe going in that direction, but had some calls with Chris Crone and Wendy, and looking to hook up with Joseph and Tony one day again. So, but lot of things going on. I've been involved in landmarks, so I'm always an introduction leader at heart, trying to help people, you know, and reliably deliver and leave people with more power, freedom, self-expression, and peace of mind. And you know, I've been just enjoying life, you know, trying to smell the coffee a little bit, and you know, just, you know, take a break. My mind's always dictating or calculating. I'm trying to shut that thing off a couple times, you know, a week, but life is good. I'm blessed, and I'm here to help people, you know, and it's extraordinary. I've been working with Joseph Argis for a long time, you know, in the New York City power team, and he started. Joseph rarely calls and tells me, like, you got to listen to this guy, and he starts telling me about Sean, and you know, I did a little research, and, like, you know, I didn't have a chance to stop and listen to him, but finally he called me like 3 times. I'm like, I better listen to Sean. And then he said, you know, there might be an opening. And then I got a call from Lorelei, and here I am today. But it's a real pleasure meeting everybody. Sorry to be long-winded.
All good. Ken Van Loo, thank you for being here. That is absolutely amazing story. And something told me that bio did not do justice. I honor your work in the world. I can only imagine the self-mastery you must have to lose $300 million in one day. I assume that's the reason why you went bald, but whatever, some fun energy. And I'm glad that you are back and rocking, and super grateful to have you here with us on the Unblinded Movement. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Vivian, who else we got?
We have David Romanelli, and he's in from Arizona. David Romanelli brings a modern, lighthearted, accessible spin to old wisdom and ancient practices. In his most recent work, Life Lessons from the Oldest and Wisest, David explores what he can learn from the wisdom of our elders in their 80s, 90s, and 100s. The book is inspired by his ongoing series called Drinks with Your Elders, where he tours across the USA to bring the old and the young generation over a bottle of wine and talk about the Holocaust and talk about World War II and the civil rights, because he believes that that is the source of wisdom and history in our country. And you're right. And he gets to teach yoga in a very unconventional way, which is his own spin on it. And he fuses chocolate, wine, jazz. I mean, that's the kind of yoga I want to be involved in, which also helped in his debuting his book, Dave's Guide to Living in the Moment. I mean, if you're going to live with yoga and wine and all that, I'm in, which became a #1 on Amazon's self-help bestseller list. And he's also been featured in the New York Times, O Magazine, Food and Wine, and the Wall Street Journal. Welcome, David.
David, thank you for joining us here today. That is the most interesting version of yoga that I've ever heard in my life. And I love the painting in the background. So outside of like eating yoga, I'm trying to envision drinking wine, eating chocolate, and doing yoga. It seems difficult and fun at the same time. What else are you up to in the world?
Well, just to kind of clear, I probably should be more clear with my bio, but basically I was in the yoga world. My last surviving grandparent was in an old age home. I saw how hard it is getting old in our country, and depressing, and how poorly we treat old people, because here I was, like, the yoga world, and the 32-year-old Instagram yoga star is our source of wisdom, and the 87-year-old World War II survivors dying a lonely death in the old age home, and it just wasn't right. So I kind of shifted my whole career path and started interviewing older people all over the country, wrote a book about it, do these events called Drinks with Your Elders. And there's just so much incredible wisdom from people who are in their 80s, 90s, and 100s that has the ability to really ground us and guide us, especially through hard times like right now where there's so much uncertainty. So that's what I do. And I kind of funnel that into a meditation program. It's sort of like a hybrid of a podcast and a meditation, where I tell stories that I learned from the oldest and wisest, and just take a moment every day to touch home and get grounded, take a deep breath.
David, I love that. And I am feeling, if I knew if Sean was here, he would be proud and smiling to talk about Nona, who was Grandma Nona and Grandma Rose, who were intricate mentors in his life. I did not have the pleasure of meeting my grandparents, but I am a true believer in wisdom. And, you know, there's a saying that a smart man makes a mistake, learns from it, never makes it again. An intelligent man finds a smart man, never makes a mistake at all. I can only imagine the invaluable wisdom that has been departed on you as you've traveled your world, eating chocolate, doing yoga, and drinking wine. Kidding. But so glad to have you here, brother. And I'm looking forward to having some fun on the influence off. So Vivian, we have our 2 contestants, and our 3 judges are
We have Roell as one of our judges. He's the owner and lead coach at Equilibrium Coaching. Rob is a professional speaker and facilitator, currently assisting business leaders in having the difficult conversations surrounding our world today. In his spare time, Rob is a trainer for the Tony Robbins companies. He is also a passionate advocate and volunteer for several causes and organizations: Tony Robbins Global Youth Leadership Summit, Alakai's Youth Leadership Academy, and the Dallas LGBTQ Resource Center. So welcome, Roell.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Robert, what's up, man? So fun question. How long does it take you to get your goatee that pristine?
Well, honestly, it's probably years, but it's just a little bit of grooming every couple of days, I guess you could say. So you can probably tell I don't shave every day. So I just let it go and trim it up. And actually probably the big trick is every day just running a comb through it to get a little border.
There was something. And what was your road to yes? How'd you end up here today, Rob?
Actually through Deb Battersby. So I've known of Sean, I guess, from being a trainer in the Tony Robbins universe, and I've seen Sean around a couple of times. Used to be a platinum partner, but before Sean was involved. And yeah, it's just when Deb said there was an opportunity to come on here and meet some amazing people and have some fun, I was all in.
Brother, we are happy to have you here, and thank you for your greatness today. I'm sure that our two contestants will learn a lot from the feedback that you will share with the experience you've had. So thank you.
Yeah.
Vivian, we got two more. Who we rocking with?
Well, we rocking with my girl, Gina Ricci. Woo! Gina is a self-love and empowerment coach, author, speaker, a love and sync consultant, and do ask her because it's a nice app for people to date and dating in this real raw format. And most importantly, she's also a devoted mother. She began her awakening through energy healing, coaches, therapists, and spiritual mentors after her daughter passed from a rare form of leukemia at the age of 3. Through her various platforms, Gina seeks to elevate and celebrate others and to inspire them to create a more empowered life full of love and purpose. Welcome, Gina.
Thank you. What's happening? Gina, speaking to you twice in 1 week. It's a good week. I'm loving your smile. What's present on your heart today on this fun Friday, Gina?
Thank you. Great to speak to you again, Fernando. What is present on my heart is we're doing some fun things with some real raw role plays in love and dating in the Love Sync with Sean's blessing. So it's pretty cool and pretty exciting. And that is what is happening and present today. We launched that today. So I'm feeling really, really great. We had a great time.
Congratulations. You are driving, moving, and if shaking is your thing, something tells me you're shaking also. So thank you for being here. And Vivian, our final assessor judge is?
We are done.
All right.
No, you forgot me.
Oh, okay.
Oh, we're missing
so
one. I see.
sorry.
I'm like, wait,
You're
where's
right.
like Lauren
I'm so
and Niagara
sorry.
Falls?
I'm so sorry. You're so right. Serial entrepreneur, Lauren Cohen, she's in Florida, but she's in from Toronto. She's a serial entrepreneur and an international lawyer and cross-border expert. She's a global realtor, a best-selling author, and sought-after speaker. After her then-husband's deportation, returning from their honeymoon, felt compelled to find stories for herself and others, and strongly believed that she could make a difference. So she went to the crazy world of immigration and international law to help others avoid a similar fate. Lauren works with real estate investors and entrepreneurs to protect their businesses and revenues so they can avoid costly challenges while expanding domestically and internationally. Lauren is the only globally acclaimed legal and business advisor whose passion for protecting the heart and soul of business shines through. So welcome, Lauren.
Thank you.
Lauren, happy to have you here. And as a true Canadian, I'm grateful that you have the New York Niagara Falls in the background. Totally kidding.
It's really not. But to be clear, are you Canadian?
Of course. And how did you get here today, Lauren?
Through Rebecca Jones, who connected me with Roleplay. And that's how. So I've been a judge on so many different panels. I love doing this.
Well, good. And if you don't mind me asking, where does the love to assess come from?
Because I love ideas. I've seen so many ideas working with immigrants from all over the world coming into the US particularly, as well as into Canada, and figuring out whether their business is viable enough to warrant a visa. And so I think that I'm qualified, well, I know I'm qualified to assess ideas and concepts. And I love doing it. I love giving feedback and providing constructive ideas to these idea makers.
Awesome. Well, we're super grateful for your time. Something tells me you have a lot of idea makers. And as from what I can sense in David, your goddess and Zeus energy is felt, it is received, and we're excited to be in the presence of what you're going to be sharing here with us today. So before we kick off, I wanted to take a moment to acknowledge Vivian Guzman, who this Real Raw would not be what it is. And every time she's not here, it is exactly not what it is. She is in the world of bringing out the stories of those that matter. She does it through merging self-development, cooking, and a beautiful show that she is creating and truly sharing with the world. She is full of goddess energy. She is here. And honestly, today, I feel like she's under her regular energy because believe it or not, she usually has more. So Vivian is not only our host for today, she's also going to be our role player. And as we jump in, for everyone that's like, whoa, who's this Fernando guy with like a fake brick wall in the back? Well, I am honored to be the youngest of 3 founders of Unblinded, partners with Sean, and also a mentee and protege to his work. I have been in business. I was 13. I'm 28 now. I had my first $1 million business when I was 21, my first merger and acquisition when I was 22, and my first exit when I was 23. And with that financial freedom, I traveled the world of personal growth and development, like Landmark, all the way to ILP and other courses, and really truly learning and being obsessive with communication, not only how words are sent, but more importantly, how words are received. And when I discovered Sean, and he started talking about this integrity-based human influence thing, I was like, yeah, just another one of those things. And it wasn't, because even though I love Landmark and I've enrolled over 100 people myself personally, every type of communication style from spin selling to NLP, etc., always had an undertone of manipulation. And that never resonated with me. And Sean's integrity-based human influence model does not. It is rooted on loving all people, integrity with boundaries, and having some fun. So with that, let's kick it off and jump into our second portion of the influence off. And Ken, I'm going to give you the opportunity to choose. I'm holding a 1 or a 2 below the camera. Which number are you going to choose?
1.
It is a 2. So with that, we're going to default to our other contestant, David. Would you like to go first or second on the first round of 3 minutes?
Second.
You're going to go second. All right. So Ken, we are back over to you. You're going to be role-playing with Vivian Guzman today. So let's set the tone. Who is Vivian, and what is the hello to yes you're going to be going for? You're going to have 2 rounds of 3 minutes. The first round is designed to have you build rapport, create some pain and yes. She's going to have a call and have to call you back. And on the final 3 minutes, the goal is to get to agreement formation, whether that's another phone call, watch a video, make an investment, or buy a product or service. So Ken, who is Vivian today?
Yeah, Vivian is someone who is trying to get in touch with me. Maybe she filled out a short survey, so I may know some information about her. I may not. I'm not quite sure how I can help her, but it's something that she's reaching out for. So we'll just find out what's cooking and see what the possibilities are.
Awesome. Let's do it. So Vivian, you're going to call Ken.
I don't know anything about the survey. So what is the survey?
Okay. So, this is part of my questioning. So I'm in global real estate strategies, and recently I did my first funnel for my new book, and it's a high ticket funnel where people, if they want to figure out what they want to do in real estate, they would schedule a free strategy call and fill out a little 5-question survey that says, my experience in real estate is either, somewhere between a 1 and 5. I would like to invest myself. So maybe as far as a role play, maybe you could be a high net individual who, found out about my new book, was calling to find out maybe about some real estate investments, or just calling me about business or life in general, and we'll just take it from there.
Awesome. Vivian, are you complete with that?
So am I in real estate then, and I'm calling you because I'm
you don't necessarily have to be. You could be someone that wants to get in real estate. You could have heard about my modern wealth building formula, heard about maybe I built some skyscrapers in New York City, but you were trying to get in touch with me, and you might not be sure what your outcome is, but we'll just chat and see what's happening.
Okay.
Awesome. So I will jump in at 1 minute warning. The 3 minutes starts now. Vivian, you're calling Ken. Go.
Well, I'm actually calling you. Hey, Vivian.
Oh, okay.
Hey, how you doing, Vivian? I saw that you filled out a short survey and you had, you're a beginner in real estate, but, you have a brother that has a lot of experience, so you can, enter the market, wherever. But, the survey doesn't tell me too much really about you and, what your thoughts are. Maybe you could take a few minutes and tell me what you're looking to accomplish and what your outcomes are. And
Sure. My father just passed away, and I have this inheritance, and I know that the best way to use my money would be to pour it into real estate. That's what was given in as an advice from my brother. So I really just wanted to get some pointers as to how do I even begin that? Where's the best place to, pour in my money? And especially now in the time of COVID, because it's very tricky. So I don't even know what the landscape looks like. So.
yeah, I'm so sorry to hear that about your dad. Yeah, under those circumstances, I wouldn't just dive into pouring your money into anything, and I guess my question is, are you familiar with real estate at all, or is this just something you heard, or what do you really want to do with the inheritance?
Well, I guess I would like to, I mean, I would like to be able to have my money go into different causes, but real estate, I think, would be the best way to go about ensuring that there's a future for that as well. I mean, I'm married and I have 2 kids that are now in college, and I want them to have, a legacy as well. And, my brother-in-law advised me, so I'm not so sure. I mean, I'm very much into, helping people and feed the hungry. And I'm very much into causes that deal with what's going on now, but I would like to ensure like my kids have a future, and whilst I'm also trying to make that dream happen.
Yeah, that's really important. And I thank you for sharing that lifestyle, because getting in real estate and, I like to customize, what I tell the people that, so that it applies to them, so, I think it's great that you're kind of feeling, some opportunity in real estate, which I agree. I think it's a great thing. I think you want to maybe have some conversations with maybe when you have a little bit more time where we could look at what the outcome is. Like, say, for example, you want to 2 years down the road, have a couple investment properties that are generating some residual income for the family. And that'll help you pay for some of the, the children's education, and once we get clear on what the long-term outcome is, then we could start to hone in on reverse engineering and what do we have actions we have to do today in order to reach that outcome over a certain period of time. So
1 minute warning.
I think it's great. I'm getting clearer on what you're, trying to achieve. And sometimes the hardest part is actually articulating what the outcome. And that's why I'm kind of asking you some questions about the purpose. Is that making any sense to you?
I do. I was just hoping that maybe you could give me more clarity on what I should or shouldn't do, or or an idea.
Sure. Absolutely. So do you see yourself, being like a passive investor or someone that would be hands-on in the real estate?
I think I would enjoy being hands-on. The kids are going to college. I think I would like to venture into that.
Awesome. Great. So, yeah, something that I would recommend, for someone who's passive, because buying real estate, whether you buy a single family home or a multifamily home, the effort that you put into it is almost the same. So for someone like yourself, I would suggest working towards, giving you the skill sets and the knowledge you need and the resources that we would start to look at properties that have more than one family, so that, it gives a little more stabilization with your investment in case one, tenant moves out, you have others ones to support the rent. But this would kind of give you a long-term stabilized process that we could, schedule an appointment where we could talk a little bit about it over like a 45-minute period and write some things down, take some notes, and kind of set a plan that we can continue to execute and move forward.
Awesome. So let's pause it right there. Let's clap it up for Ken. Has Vivian thinking and pondering. Amazing job. And let's hop over to our assessors. And Gina, let's start with you. Let's keep it in a 60-second window. What's your score? And what are some positives and what are some potential growth areas that you have for Ken?
Okay. So, great job, Ken. I thought that was really, really wonderful how you were able to ask her questions about her and create the rapport about her inheriting the money and giving her the ideas of what she can do with it. I thought maybe you could have maybe ask a little more questions about, you know, why she wanted to do that when you were sharing a lot of info about what you thought, what path you could take to help her. But I did give you a 9.2. So I thought that, you know, it was a great strategy that you have for her. So,
Thank you.
So we got a 9.2 on the board from Gina. Lauren, let's kick it over to you. What are your thoughts? What's your score? And
Ken, I'm very excited to connect with you. I'm very excited to hear that interchange. That was great. I loved your empathy, which is really important. That was really, I noticed that right from the get-go, that you were not trying to be greedy or say you've got to invest in this and this and this and this, which as somebody who's in the real estate world sees all too often. So I like that. I think that the options you gave were good. I would love to see maybe an offer of like a roadmap, like a visual, because I have a feeling that somebody like Vivian, and I say that because that's her role, would be very receptive to a graphic design, and the strategies could be laid out on that design very clearly and give her a picture of all the different options, right? So that was my thought. So I think I would have to agree with Gina and give you about a 9. So it was very well done.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lauren. And Rob, take us home. What's your score? What are some things that were done amazingly, and what are some potential growth areas?
Cool. So I did like, as Lauren had said, it's like the empathy. It's when you're having business conversations, quite often people can get caught off guard with like a comment about a parent passing, and they brush right by it onto business. And you did a great job of capturing that and spending a moment with that to acknowledge it. And then with the comment, I like the comment after, when you kind of reset her on her enthusiasm of taking this inheritance money and pouring it into real estate, and kind of reined her back in a little bit on that. What I think you could have done even better is to build a little bit more rapport with her about not so much on who she is and where she is now, but what her outcomes are. It's like, I don't think you ever got to that. Yeah. And to really, you know, just so you can understand, it's like, well, what's the leverage into the next piece? But overall, it's like, actually, I would say probably around an 8.9 or 9. That's my score.
Well, thank you. And Vivian, what would you share was present to you in your interaction with Ken?
I loved his selflessness when he was talking about not wanting to take the money in many ways, like the inheritance. He wanted to know more, like, about it. He could have, I guess, probed a little bit more for me personally to find out what my challenges might have been, or what my deep, deep passion would have been in the real estate area, which I don't have an answer for yet, but still. And then maybe that would have gone further, but I felt really comfortable, and I felt like he knew a lot more. So I wanted a little bit more of a baby simplification of what he had to offer, because I'm a new person trying to get into real estate. So a lot of the things he was talking about went over my head. So.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Vivian. Ken, what I would share is that your certainty is unmatched. You have a very cool, level-headed energy to you. I loved your direct empathy of like, whoa, maybe this isn't the right thing. That is just your high level of integrity. Through our formula, we have one of our indispensable elements is 5D transformational listening. No one says anything for no reason. So in the sharing of her father passing, in the sharing of her children going to college, there's immense levels of pain there that we could have stepped into to truly understand why they're even making the decision. So those were 2 beautiful access points. Regardless, you touch them, you acknowledge them, simply opportunity to go a little deeper. So thank you, Ken, and we'll bring you back on the second round. So let's hop over to Mr. David. David, let's set the tone. Who is Vivian? What is she? And what are you going to be going from hello to yes with on these first 3-minute round?
Okay, so Viv, I have a high-touch meditation program. It's 6 months of daily meditation that's much more one-on-one attention and storytelling, a lot of heart and soul, personality. And so, Vivian, you're a stressed out working mom who needs peace of mind, needs to sleep better at night. None of the meditation apps, Headspace, Calm, all that stuff is working and you need something different and you're desperate for it.
Okay.
All right, so let's do it. So, David, will Vivian be calling you or will you be calling Vivian?
I'll be calling Vivian.
All right, so 3 minutes, start now. I'll be jumping in on the 1 minute warning. Ready? Go.
Vivian, I want to reach out to you today to see how you're sleeping at night right now during this pandemic.
This is so funny. Are you kidding me? Who gets to sleep right now in this pandemic? I mean, it's like insane. When you listen to the news and everything that happens, it's just crazy. Then there are the kids I have to get ready, that I have to make sure that I make the food, that I have to put them in front of the laptop so that I can make sure that they do the curriculum. And then my husband is always busy. I'm the chef. I'm the one who has to go food shopping and get it all done. I do Instacart when I can. Yeah.
It's a lot. It's a lot right now. Would you say this is the most stressful time in your life?
I think this is the most stressful time for anyone. I can't imagine other people with more specific challenges. At least everyone is healthy and happy right now.
And what are you doing to de-stress every day?
I put the Calm app on my phone. It wasn't so successful, and I never get around to my phone. It's always phone calls or Zooms or the family. I try stretching on occasion or taking a breath here and there, and I'll sing a song and I'll belt it out loud, and that's it.
So you tried the Calm app and it didn't work for you?
No, sometimes I get like disappointed with like different people. If they're too calm, it makes me stressed out. And if they're not, like I'll do a Tony Robbins on occasion for 8 minutes or 14 minutes. And that's like a little bit more like, yeah, I get that, because I need somebody to speak to me on my level of language. And so sometimes when people are too calm, I'm like, okay, my mind starts to wander.
Okay. So would you be interested in a meditation program that engaged with you and spoke to you and resonated, something that compelled you to want to come back to it every day?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Sounds like my language. It's making it interactive. It sounds kind of interesting.
Right. And what's the amount of time that you feel that you need, the minimum amount of time that you need to relax and de-stress and reset?
That's a great question. I would think that 15
1
to
minute
20
warning.
minutes. I would say 15 to 20 minutes might be the most that I could probably give to reset.
Okay. But you'd be willing to commit 15 to 20 minutes every day if it worked for you?
Yeah.
Okay. And what's your greatest fear right now?
My greatest fear is that if any one of us lost our job, we wouldn't be able to keep the house.
Okay. And that you lose sleep at night over that?
I lose sleep over many things. That's just one big one.
Right.
I have insomnia. I've always historically have had insomnia. So.
Okay. So something that could speak to your insomnia and help you work through the uncertainty at this time, it would be a high priority for you right now.
That would be a godsend.
Okay. Yeah.
Awesome. Let's end right there. That was a great timing to transition. Amazing job, David. I will save my feedback for last. Vivian, how do you feel?
I loved everything about this conversation, and I loved how he was really listening and incorporated everything as he was going along. And it just felt great.
Awesome. Thank you, Vivian. We'll follow the same order. Gina, let's kick it over to you. 60 seconds. What is your score? What were some things that were done right? And what are some possible growth areas?
I thought that was fabulous. I really thought that, David was very listening to Vivian's needs very well. He went right in, like at the beginning, where maybe he would have said like, hey, I want to talk about your sleep. You were like, you just went right in like, how are you sleeping? And that was good, except that I might've been like, wait, what? Like, how do you know about my sleeping? But you got into it and you got into the conversation with her about that. And that was great. And you were empathetic and conveying, I thought you had great emotional rapport. So I'm going to go with a 9.5.
Awesome. Thank you. Lauren, let's kick it over to you. What say you?
Audio.
Sorry, we can't hear you.
You're on mute.
Okay, sorry. I'm trying to keep myself muted so you can hear my dogs in the background.
Nice.
It's hard to really follow those two amazing ladies. I mean, David, you did a great job really touching on all the points that Vivian was addressing. I can identify with Vivian's stress level. I'm a single mom, so I probably need all the tools that you were talking about. So I was resonating with the whole conversation. It was great. I'd also give you about a 9.4.
Awesome. Thank you, Lauren. And Rob, what is your score? What were some things that were amazing, and what are some potential growth areas?
What was really amazing is he like walked right through, like ticked the boxes, like he was reading her mind really, really well about the things that would lead into the product that he'll ultimately offer. The thing that he could improve upon is to take a beat at the beginning to actually build rapport. It's like, I think you went into that. Well, I'm going to mind read a little bit. I'm going to guess that you just forgot that part. Or the other way to say that is you assumed that. And because of that, it's like Vivian received it really well. A lot of customers aren't going to receive that because, like Gina pointed out, going right into sleep, people are going to be like, what, huh, what? And when they get into that, what Joseph and Sean likes to talk about it a lot, the scotoma thing, they're going to go into a scotoma and possibly not in a positive way that you want them to. For that reason, it's like, I'm actually going to give you an 8.5.
Awesome. What I'll share positively, David, is that you stepped into one of the areas that most contestants in this arena do not step into, which is our step 2 of our 4 steps, which is pain and yes. Your pain and yes questions were like spot on. They were real. You could see Vivian go from energetic to like, and it was like truly like you can feel that and just truly want to honor your certainty and your strength and being able to be in that moment. Some possible growth areas is one of our indispensable elements is congruent. Vivian came in hot, like she had energy. So the ability to meet them where they are, be congruent, vary your energies between fun, goddess, aspirational, Zeus. That's a potential growth area. But just overall, truly want to acknowledge your pain and yes, and also some potential. 2 of our other indispensable elements are acknowledgement and validation. Your questions were spot on, and they were very, the syntax of the questions was amazing. Taking a moment to acknowledge and properly validate through a like, wow, I hear you, like a deeper, I hear you, I see you, and why are you saying that? Could have been an opportunity for what Rob said to build some emotional rapport. So overall, amazing job.
Thank you.
So let's bring it back. Ken, we're jumping into round 2. You have your final 3 minutes. The goal of this round is to end up in an agreement formation. So let's continue. Vivian, you're going to be calling Ken back after you downloaded some of these thoughts. You have to quickly just go outside, check the mail. You're coming back. You're giving him a call. And 3 minutes start now. I'll jump in on the 1 minute warning. Ready, go.
Hi, you are on mute.
Thought you were calling me back. Okay, sorry. Hey, Vivian, nice to hear from you. How's things going? How you doing? And how's it been since Dad passed away? Are you doing okay?
Yeah, wow. There's so much to do all the time, and I haven't had a chance to really grieve, and it's still a shock. But he lived a really beautiful life. He lived till he was 90. He lived a full life. So I felt safe that he didn't have any real illness. He passed out in his bed. It's like the dream that we all have. So, and he was a really wonderful man.
Yeah. Thank you again for sharing. My parents are both 85 and I have that fright, but the one thing, if you had a few minutes, I just wanted to mention that I may have been a little short, only because real estate's a lot to talk about. And, I know you mentioned that you were kind of just getting into it. And, now that we had a couple more minutes, I figured I wanted to just first ask you, what kind of outcomes do you want with your children? Because I think, your real estate investing could really, create an extraordinary life for you and your kids. And, what are some of your passions? And then I wanted to tell you that you really don't have to worry too much about getting started, because if we do work together, I'll actually help you put together a little blueprint on what the steps are on how to fund and facilitate real estate and get into real estate investing. So what was your thoughts since we last spoke?
I like the idea of that. I guess, when you left me, I was thinking a lot about if I wanted to be hands-on or just invest. So I guess I have more questions on that. I want to be able to, in my retiring years, not be as you were mentioning tenants and being there present. So I kind of got a little confused, and it got me nervous about what that entails and how much involvement that means. But I would like to be property owner, invest and maybe be partially on, but I don't know, that kind of scared me a little bit.
Sure.
I want a dream of having my family in California, living in Redondo Beach, and, you know, being able to have the leisureliness of being able to go and, you know, eat crabs in the summertime at the pier. So
yeah, no, that's the life you can create in real estate, and, you know, have a little bit extra and have the ability to have not only financial freedom, but freedom of time, you know. And I think, you know, I'd really love to, you know, begin putting together a whole investment strategy for you, you know, and really look at, you know, if you choose, and not worried about what you were mentioning. So the difference between property ownership and property management is a very clear distinction. You want to be a property owner, and you want to be hands-on and go to your properties and make sure that the property manager is really keeping it nice and up to speed with you, but you're not dealing with the headaches of a tenant calling you or having to fill out a lease and, you know, worrying about it. You're more like the asset manager of just making sure that your check's coming in each month and that you're getting the rate of return, and it's kind of meeting all your projections that we lay out in the beginning of the investment period.
1 minute warning.
And we would start out with kind of looking at, you know, like I said, you'd like to have, say, 3 properties in 2 years. So then we'd say, okay, let's ratchet that back, and let's start to talk about how we would find those types of those 3 properties. And then we would look at the next step on how we would fund those 3 properties. And then we would look at how we would facilitate it. And the facilitation process is a little bit about property management and a little bit about property ownership. But that's how we would get started. How does something like that sound?
that's a lot of better clarity than the last conversation that we have, and it makes me feel you know, assured that this is good. So yeah, I'd be curious to have a little bit more time of you explaining it to me.
Yeah. And just so you know, there's no rush into any investing. The way that we work is we lay out a blueprint on how to get started. We talk that qualifies the process. Then we talk and we quantify the process. So then you could sit down with your family and look at, you know, the type of investment you want to make, what type of property, how much you want to invest, what the rates of return, what the time period, what the investment is, what the exit strategy on the investment might be. Long-term, you may stay in for a year or 2 and collect a big check. So there's a lot of options that we just walk you through slowly, make you feel comfortable, and then you make an educated decision, you know, with your family.
Okay.
Awesome. Well, that sounded like a yes to me for the next step on our blueprint. So congratulations, Ken.
Thank you.
Vivian, what's your feeling after that interaction with Ken?
I love that he wasn't rushing me. I loved the guidance that I didn't have on the first round, which was great. So this gave me a blueprint, like I could see it now. I was able to understand it better. So I felt safe, and I like that.
Safe. That is a beautiful word. Gina, let's kick it over to you. 60 seconds. Let's do a score, positives and potential growth areas.
Okay, I thought that was awesome, Ken. Really great. That gave you a 9.6, and I felt that you were empathetic from the start of the call. You really met Vivian's energy. I felt like you had, you guys, your energy transference was spot on, in my opinion. You asked for her outcomes. You went in asking for her outcomes, so she was really able to convey what her why was, her whys, living in Redondo Beach and eating crabs and having, and expressing to her that would give her the freedom of time. Yeah. And I thought you did a great job. So
thank you.
Very good.
Thank you, Gina. Lauren, let's go back to you. What is present for you after Ken share?
Definitely far improved. It's amazing how a little bit of feedback can change the perspective or the approach that you take. It's really great. And it's good that you're so receptive at you're such a sophisticated real estate mogul, and yet you're still receptive to the constructive feedback that we've been giving you. So I give you huge kudos for that, because that's not always easy, and I really like the way that you approached it differently, and we're giving Vivian that blueprint that she needs, because she's going to need her hand held through this process, because it's not something, losing your spouse and dealing with the kids and there's a lot of stuff. So I give you huge kudos, and I give you a 9.5.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, Lauren. And Rob, your final score for Ken will be?
So my final score actually would be an 8.9 again. I think you, like the lady said, it's like you got to rapport really quick, checking in with the dad, creating that empathy that like I've been there or I am there with your parents as well was really good. Getting to what she wanted. Yeah, I think the question was actually, what do you want? Where you could improve is those of you that are out in the New York area understand that Hamilton's really popular now with Disney Plus and stuff. There's a line that's used repeatedly throughout the show. It's like, talk less, smile more. Like you could take a lot of the things that you say, a lot of the detail, and consolidate them into one-liners almost. Because you had a brilliant one right at the end where you talked about, because I'm looking for my note, you can make an educated decision. But that was preceded by a list of about 8 to 10 things that would lead her to that. And she commented on how you gave her such certainty with things. You could get to that certainty a lot quicker by just consolidating some of those lists into like a bigger chunk, right? To use Tony language.
Yes.
And you do those things, and it's like I think you satisfy both things, right? Because you enumerate a list. And that can tend, where they say confusion leads to no decision.
Exactly. Decision leads to nothing.
Get to a yes. That was really brilliant.
Awesome. Thank you.
Ken, I will echo what our assessors have said. It is very humbling to watch someone as successful as yourself be able to not only receive feedback very gracefully, but also implement it right away. You went right into dad, right into kids. You leaned in. I'm not confused on who you are. My listening is very tuned. One thing that I enjoyed greatly is that you went back to emotional rapport. We have 5 questions when we build emotional rapport. Where have you been? Where are you now? Where are you going? What's working? What's not working? When you went into question 3 of part 1, which is where are you going? You were able to pull out a lot from Vivian, like Rodeo Drive and crabs and being able to travel. So recommendation would be anchoring and staying in step 1, possibly figuring out what's working, what's not working. Obviously you had a 3-minute window, so amazing job. And also you did it in the first section. I just want to take a second and acknowledge, I love how you very subtly injected your heroic, unique identity. Like, yeah, I just built some skyscrapers in the city, boom, 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 boom. So it wasn't, it was very well positioned. It was enough. Your certainty is your identity. So I don't think, and you even need to convey it because your certainty, that is your identity. So amazing job, Ken.
Thank you very much. Awesome feedback. Thank you.
All right, David, you are up for round 2. Your goal is to convey your identity and go into agreement formation. So you will have 3 minutes. Vivian will be calling you back. I will chime in at the 1-minute warning, and 3 minutes start now.
Hi, David.
Vivian, I'm so sorry to hear about the passing of your father. How are you doing with that?
I'm a little stressed out, but because it's a lot to take in all at once, because of my mother, and my mother's now staying a little bit longer with us, and there's a lot to consider there. So that's like an added layer of things, and it's new, and just to see her. He lived a very long life. They've lived a long life together, married. They were married 60 years, and it was just really beautiful, to see their love. And but that just adds a little bit more to everything else that's on my to-do list that I was telling you, because she requires a little bit more help now. So.
Well, I just wanted to mention that my last book was about the wisdom of elders. And so I just wanted to ask you, what was the greatest lesson that you learned from your father that's really inspires you every day?
Wow. His whole life was a legacy of perseverance. He was one he was so dynamic. So when something didn't work, he did something else. He used to sing and write poetry. He worked in factories and worked his way up to owning a carpet store. And then from there, he, bought his home in the Dominican Republic, and, and then, he lived a really full life, because that's where I am culturally. So he let nothing stop him. He didn't even speak English. He helped, his kids learn English when he started learning it himself. So he was always adapting. So I think adaptability, because I've moved a few times in my life, and I think that resilience is one of the top things that, he really imparted upon me.
Resilience, I think, is one of the great messages that we learned from that generation, and how to get through these hard times. And that's the kind of messaging that I put in these daily meditations that I was telling you about. A lot of stories from our elders about resilience, about joie de vivre, taking time each day to enjoy life. One of the people I often talk about was this 111-year-old lady. 3 tips on health were sex, vodka, and spicy food. So just remembering that it's okay to be sad sometimes. We have to remember to loosen our grip and laugh sometimes. And that's the kind of wisdom and storytelling that I infuse into my meditations, which I think makes it unique and different. And I was just wondering if I could share a sample of 7 days sample of this series that I could send you directly and follow up with you to see if this is something that you'd like to embrace in your life.
Well, it sounds really lovely. How long are the episodes of your yoga?
1 minute warning.
Guided
meditation. Sorry.
Each one is 18 minutes. It starts with a story that's recorded in real time that day that I sent to you. It just feels like there's a personality. The common headspace, you're never going to know the person behind the voice. It's just a voice. But for something as private and that asks you to go in and close your eyes and go within, something that's that personal, I think it's important to know the person behind the voice and to have a high touch experience. So that's what I share. I call it a journey because we're in this together. Feels like we're sitting down by the fire, having a glass of wine each day and just reflecting on the ups and downs of life. And I'd love to share a few samples of this with you.
Sounds really lovely. I like that.
Boom. And that is what a yes sounds like, ladies and gents. So Vivian, what would be one word you would choose to describe your second interaction with David?
Home run. Well, the thing is this, I felt like he really used his HUI so brilliantly, his heroic unique identity, which used everything that I had concerns about, and he just dropped right in there, and it was just lovely.
Awesome. Gina, let's follow suit. Let's kick it over to you. Score. What was amazing, and what are some possible growth areas?
Totally amazing how I felt the heart in both of you, like this, just really that connection. And so I thought that was really great. You really dropped in and your energy just connected, and you were very thoughtful and empathetic with her around her dad, and you brought that in to the work that you do, which would give her something really valuable to fall asleep to or whatever to start her day with. And so I thought you did amazing. I thought it was really great, and I want to know more. So I gave you a 9.8.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
All right, Lauren, let's go over to you. What is your
I knew I was going to be next. I'm always after Gina. It's challenging to be after Gina because she takes all my words. She's great. Yeah, that was excellent. I mean, you just cut right to the chase and get right into the core of things, and obviously have that empathetic heart because it's what you do, and you really understood Vivian's needs in these circumstances, and I wouldn't really improve on anything. I mean, I can't give you a 10 because there's always room for improvement. I just didn't necessarily identify it, but I can't give you a 10, so I'll give you a 9.8 also. But it was great. I think I need those tools too, right, Gina?
And Bob, over to you. Rob.
Yeah, thank you. So yeah, I would echo a lot of that. It's like you took this dad passing situation and you so brilliantly mapped that into what you do. It's like the wisdom of the elders. It's like the minute that you went there, I was watching Vivian's reaction, and she went from this kind of frenetic world that she lives in to she went internal, which for what you do is what you want, right? It's like you want her to be in that feeling space, and you went there with her. And that was just absolutely brilliant. And you had such a beautiful transition from that. Obviously, you could see all the reactions. Like I was loving it because she's got such an expressive face that you could see in her face how you went there with her and how there was that rapport just from all of that. Really, if there was anything to improve, it's just similar to what I told Ken, is that, you know, less is more. And it's like less is more, and recognizing when you're like just right there. She just asked you simply, how much time does it take? It's like, it takes a simple 18 minutes. And then give it a moment to breathe, because she was right there. She just needed that one question answered. The yes was there, right? And that would be the only thing. It's like you went beautifully through that, and I would give you a 9.5.
Awesome. Well, this has been incredible. David, your second question was spot on, as Rob so eloquently just shared. I'm sure we all experienced, even though Vivian was in role playing, she transitioned from her head to her heart in that question. Eyes up to the left, complete gaze. And I think, you know, she might have even thought of her own father in that moment. So role play, you know, creates real play. Those are really, you know, profound questions. I would just anchor on what I shared with you before. Your aspirational energy, incredible. Your goddess energy, incredible. Your Zeus energy, which doesn't have to mean yell or confront. It is to choose and to move through. I would say adding some fun energy will make a giant difference. It is the variance of the four that truly creates influence and attraction. And what I'm present to as we come to an end of this Real Raw is that I am not confused that this is not the first time David has talked about meditation, and it's definitely not the first time Ken has talked about investment. Your certainty was felt, your desire to help humanity was felt, your egolessness was felt, your humility was felt. It is an honor to have shared this space with heart-centered influencers. Thank you all for joining another episode of The Real Raw. My name is Fernando. We are Unblinded, and have a blessed rest of your fun Friday. Thank you, everyone.